How ambitious are CO2 targets for trucks and buses in Europe? Very ambitious, probably among the most ambitious targets in the world. The European legislator has set up a requirement for the fleets of trucks and buses to reduce CO2 emissions by 45% in 2030 compared to the 2019 levels. That is bold and translates into 400,000 new zero-emission vehicles by 2030. If those targets are realistic, I think that is the bigger question. To me, those targets will be realistic and be met based on three conditions being true. Number one, economics need to be at the right point compared to the current diesel solution. Number two, infrastructure needs to be in place. And number three, there has to be an ease or options for the end user for this transition to happen. I'll start with number one, economics. So economics we translate into total cost of ownership for the end user. And total cost of ownership, there's one element that is really important outside, of course, of driver cost, which is fuel cost, or in this case, energy cost. In the case of electric trucks and hydrogen trucks, if they're a solution as well, their cost today is a bit higher than the cost of a diesel truck, the cost of the incumbent. We need to significantly reduce the cost of electricity at public charging stations and hydrogen refueling stations if we are to enable the transition. In the case of electric or electricity, you have to reduce by around 50% the cost per kilowatt hour at these stations. And in the case of hydrogen, the reduction is even larger. You have to reduce by around 75% the cost of hydrogen per kilo. Those are big numbers, but I believe they are achievable. However, the second condition for the transition that happens is a very critical one, and probably one that is on the challenging front: infrastructure. Infrastructure today in Europe is really meager compared to the levels that we need to be. We do have today megawatt charging stations, we do have hydrogen refueling stations, but we have 50 of each, which is a very low number compared to where you need to be for those 400,000 zero-emission trucks. You need to have 35,000 megawatt charging stations, and you need to have 2,000 hydrogen refueling stations. Those are big numbers, and getting from where we are to where we need to be will require significant effort from the regulators, from the OEMs, from everyone involved in this. Number three as a condition is this ease of transition and options to the end user. That is where I believe the regulators can play a big role. So even if I don't think there is one single solution for us to get from where we are to 45% reduction, the definition of zero emissions vehicles, the ability to use a multitude of solutions, that will be critical for us to achieve the target. At Cummins, we not only work on the traditional zero emission solutions such as battery electric vehicles or fuel cell electric vehicles, we also work on solutions to our internal combustion engines that help us get to this 45% target, being hydrogen internal combustion engines, engines powered by renewable natural gas, engines powered by HVO. All of those are solutions that could get us there. And I'm optimistic that we're going to get there.